I have a very tricky question to start with. Does anybody remember what we spoke about last time? Was anybody here last time? Anyone? The last time we were here? Does anyone remember what we spoke about? You can win some money right now. Yeah? Think about it. What did you weren't even here, were you?
I know, but last time I came, I think it was about waking up first and after budget.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yes, sir.
Remembering the times of trip.
Okay. Anything else? Yes. What did I say about parents? If you can remember what I said, then you can.
I think it was you like respecting something about them. Your parents' speech are the kids' them.
I never said that. That's too common. I don't say that. I say something more profound. Yes?
Respecting your parents.
Huh?
Respecting your parents.
But you have to remember what I spoke about. Like I might have used the word parent, but what did I say exactly? Does anybody remember? Because I gave very good examples of what not to do. Does anybody remember what I remember? What not to do? Does anybody remember? Yes? You at the back, yes?
Don't talk back to your parents.
No, you guys are guessing. I'm not gonna give you rewards for nothing. This is not a guessing game. Huh?
So it's like when they ask you to do something and it's repetitive, don't like shrug, don't sigh, don't like.
Are you sure I said that?
Yes.
Okay, come. You get your $5. Anybody remember anything else? Anything? Anyone else? Yes?
That when you say you love your parents, you should show it by hugging them.
Come. Right hand. That's okay. Anything else, kids? Now you have reasons to listen carefully. Basically, what I spoke about last time, specifically with parents, I had spoken about the last time we spoke about parents, I had specifically mentioned that do not tire them out by over demanding. By asking for too much, we sometimes burn out our loved ones. I'm giving the example of parents to the younger people. Those who are married, apply the same logic there. Do not burn out your spouse by asking for too much. We sometimes don't realize we are too demanding. Overwhelming. We are so overwhelming that the person who's dealing with us gets tired. Like I'm tired, he's too much, she's too much. So if you are the kind of child that's always like pestering your mother and your father, maybe you need to relax because you're burning your mother and your father out. And if you're misbehaving, pay attention. If you're misbehaving, then that too, your misbehavior becomes a problem after a while because your mother and father cannot keep protecting you. You're getting in trouble too often. And now the other big question would be, like the Imam in the Salat, he read an ayat about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need of all of your universe. The whole universe, Allah has no need for it. But right after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, be nice to your parents. If you study the Quran and when you reach those places where Allah says, worship the Lord, and you'll know that your Lord is one, right after Allah mentions the parents, can you kind of guess why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing that? He's mentioning the most important thing ever, which is one Lord. Stop worshiping anything else. There's only one Lord. There's no Son of God, there's nothing. He's just one and only. Then right after that he mentions, be nice to your parents. The Mufassiri mentioned, because the Lord is the creator, and your mother and father are the people who nurtured you, they helped you grow up. Does anybody have a pet? What kind of pet do you have, young man?
A dog.
A dog. What do you have?
A cat.
Cat. How old is the cat?
2.
Two what?
2 years old.
2 years. When you first got the cat, how big was it?
My hand.
Good. How big is it now? Almost like a full size? Does anybody else have pets? Yes, sir. Bird. What kind of bird? Budgie. What color?
Blue and green.
Blue and green. How old is it, do you know?
2.
2.
No, not 2 years old.
Okay, but when you got it, was it smaller or was it almost the same size?
Same size.
Yeah, budgies, if you buy them as a baby, they'll be tiny, but if you bought them full size, you won't see a big difference. Now, I'm twisting the question. How big were you when your parents got you? Think about that. Every single one of us, from this wall to that wall, I don't care how old you are, you were a tiny little ball of meat when mommy and daddy got you. Every single one of us, even the old people, when the grandparents here, you were a tiny little piece of meat when your mommy and daddy got you, and they nurtured you into an adult. Every single one of you kids, you were a tiny little kid. And your mom and dad took care of you over and over again. You know what the difference between a cat and a child is? A cat grows up much faster. Humans take forever to grow up. Humans take forever to grow up. They're too slow. But our parents have sabr. They have patience and they deal with us. Otherwise, a cat, in 2 years, she's already adult size. Birds, 5 months, they're already adults. 5 months, the bird is already an adult. Cats, few months, poof, they're already adult size. How long does it take for a human to be adult size? How many years? Yes? 12 years. Yes, sir. What would you say? 18. What would you say?
20.
Yeah. Yes? You know what the bigger problem is? Our brains grow kind of slow also. Did you know? I'm sure every single one of you children, and even the young adults here, you must be thinking, I'm so complete up here, I'm perfect. But scientists will tell you our brain is growing until age 25. So technically you're an adult, according to the Canadian law, when you're 18. But you're not fully mature until you're 25. You know what the biggest problem is? When kids make big decisions between age 10 and 25. They make really bad decisions, because that's a tricky time. You're growing up, right? If you make a bad mistake and your brain is still forming before age 25, you messed up your life. If you got a criminal record, or you hurt someone, or you were in some big trouble, your brain is not even formed fully and you already made a big mistake. But the law sees you as an adult. So this is where the dilemma is, and I was talking about parents. Parents have this issue. They say, oh, this kid, he's bigger than me, but he acts like a child. Imagine a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. They already decided their mom and dad, maybe. But they're so sloppy, lazy, careless, unorganized, and so on. So now the child acts all big, like, Lord, you give me so much respect, I'm a big kid now. And the kid is talking so much, but they're acting like children. The kid is bigger than mom and dad, but he's acting like so bad all the time. Late for school, late for salat, missing homework, missing assignments, not respecting, not cleaning up their mess, not brushing on time, not dental flossing, not putting their shoes on the shelf properly, all these things. So the kid wants to be respected like a big kid, but they don't have the behavior. So the parents are confused, especially with teenagers. The kid acts all big and arrogant, But the mother and father, like, look at him, he acts all big, but he's, look at his behavior. And now, guess what? Nothing special happens after age 25 if you didn't help yourself become a special person. So even after age 25, if you don't change your ways, you're still kind of not well behaved. Even after that, we're still the same person. Somebody could be 35, but his behavior is still strange. He acts like half a child, half an adult. So this is where self-awareness comes in. Self-awareness. What does awareness mean? Anyone? Yes, sir.
To know.
To know. So it's good to know how other people see you. It's good to know how other people see you. How does somebody else see my behavior? For example, when I was coming to the masjid, I said, let me wear white clothes. I don't want to wear something gloomy. If I wear a dark color, they're not going to like it. So I wanted to be self-aware of you people, because I couldn't wear a dark color. But I'm like, no, it's a gloomy time, it's cloudy outside, it's not a good weather, there's so much suffering happening in the ummah, so let me wear a bright color so I don't look too gloomy. I have dark color topi, I'm like, no, let me wear a light color so people don't see my gloomy colors. So even what we wear, people are watching. It affects other people. If I look sloppy, if I look like this, you're like, bro, look at this guy. He just came out of his bed and just walked here. You would want to see my face. You're like, look at his face. He looks like a weirdo. So look at yourself in the mirror. Be like, how do I look? Am I presentable? You understand, kids? Ask yourself, am I dressed properly? The other thing many kids don't pay attention to is their footwear and their bad smell from their shoes and socks. All you kids are healthy kids. You're running around in school the whole day, right? Do you ever check the smell of your shoes, if it smells okay, or is it good enough to kill someone? Because it smells so bad. We should check our shoes. And this issue happens to adults also. This happens to adults also. They're not self-aware. They'll come pray salat, and the person behind in sajda, you know how in sajda when we put our faces down? The next guy's feet is right here. And if this guy didn't wash his feet all day, now when I'm praying, I'm like, subhanallah, rabbil a'la, subhanallah, rabbil a'la. And now I smell his Dorito toes. He smells like cheese, like rotten cheese in his toes. And I can smell his nasty feet because he doesn't wash his feet. He's an adult. He's standing right behind the imam, but he's got bad smelling toes. And by the way, now the big question is, I mentioned the problem. What is the solution? Does anybody know how to remove smell from your shoes? From your shoes, not feet. Yes.
To do properly?
I said shoes, and you said wash your foot. I said shoes. Yes.
To keep it clean?
Bro.
How do you keep it clean?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning the question. Yes, sir.
Baking soda?
Baking soda, that's a good one. But what do I do with the soda? Do I put the whole container inside my shoe? What do I do?
Pour some in your shoe.
Are you sure?
That's what my mom does.
Okay, yes, sir.
Clean your shoe.
Huh?
Clean your shoe.
How do I clean it? That's the whole question.
Put
Yes, sir.
some spray in your shoe.
That one doesn't work because that one you wait for a few minutes. Then it turns into bad smell again. So sprays don't work.
Put it outside.
Put it?
Outside.
Who said that? That's a good one. Because dryness kills germs. So if you had 1 billion germs in your shoe, you put them in the sun, half of them will die, the other half will become half dead. When you bring them back inside and you put your feet back inside, they come back to life, and because there's moisture. Yes? Yes? Thank you, sir. Why didn't you speak earlier? You're the smartest in here. Why don't you speak earlier? You would have saved everybody's time, genius. You're the smartest in here. Speak next time louder, okay? You're very, very smart. This is the problem in the world. This is the problem in the world. The smart people never talk. The dumb people are always talking. This is the whole problem. If you study politics, world leaders, this is the whole problem. That smart people are too scared to talk, and the idiots are running the show. That's the whole world's dilemma. Right here, what we just saw. The smartest person is always quiet, and the dumbest person always wins arguments. This is the whole, if you want to summarize the whole world's dilemma, this is it. The smart people never talk, because nobody gives them a chance to talk. And they never get praised. May Allah make it easy for us to listen to the smart ones amongst us. If you study psychology, there's something called the herd mentality. Has anybody heard that word? Herd mentality? What does it mean, sir?
Follow the leader. You don't think for yourself.
Okay, thank you. Yes?
You follow everyone, but
You follow everyone, yes, and?
what they're doing.
Basically, what does herd mean? H-E-R-D. What does that mean, herd? Yes? Pack of what? Group of sheeps. If you ever see sheeps, there's a funny video online where one sheep went around the car. Then there were 6 of them or 10, and they started going around the car. Well, they think they're going somewhere, but they're going in a circle around the car over and over and over again. The sheep, they went crazy, so one follows the second one, and the second one just follows the other one, and they're all going in a circle around the car, and the car wants to get out of the way, but the sheep is going, and they don't know when to stop and get out of the way. That's called herd mentality, where one person does something dumb and everybody has to do it. That's what we call TikTok trends, or funny trends that become famous online. One dumbo does something online, now the whole world has to do it now. One dumb video comes online, the whole world has to copy now, because one dumbo did it. So the problem with life is, even our bigger decisions are like that. Even in high school, if one kid does something really bad, everybody's watching it. Oh, he said a bad word. I have to say it too now. Oh, he said a bad word. I have to copy him now. So now the kid goes and uses the same word the next day. And this is how we become. That's why they say don't follow the herd. Don't follow what everybody else is doing. The Quran talks about these kind of things. Do you guys know that? Herd mentality, the Quran talks about it. It says if you were to follow most of humanity, you'll be misguided. I'll say that again 2 more times. If you were to follow most of humanity, you'll be misguided. If you were to follow most of humanity, you'll be misguided. Meaning most people are just crazy, don't follow them. Now, kids, because many of you are online and watching videos and short clips, you are seeing a lot of nonsense. I don't know how much control your parents have over you. I wish they have a lot, and I hope you are also in control of your lives. You're not consuming bad things online. If your parents are controlling you, you're so lucky. If you are behaving online and your parents control you also, you're so lucky, because your young mind is impressionable. Impressionable means something can affect it fast. Like for example, if somebody's wearing very tight socks, when you pull it down, there's a little line in your foot, right? That's called impression. That's called impression. Your mind is like that. Every time you see something weird, it affects your mind. So, because there's so much internet to be consumed, and by the way, I hope the adults are listening, because this applies to us adults more than kids. We just think, maybe nothing affects me. No, wallahi, even a 30-second video can change your mind forever and ever. The amount of nonsense we get on the WhatsApp feeds from family and friends and whatever is nonsense. There's no need to watch that stuff. Even the religious videos sometimes have very negative connotations. There's music, there's the person, he's not dressed Islamically, he's talking, there's music, there's so much weird stuff going on, and we're saying, oh, he said one thing right, at least, so it's fine. He said one thing, right, so the whole thing is fine. For example, you watch a 2-hour video, and at the end, the guy says something really nice. You're like, oh, it's a good video. For 2 hours, you're watching bad things in the video, but just at the end, the guy says something nice, we're like, oh, it's a very meaningful video. It wasn't. So same thing with many of our religious videos is nonsense. There's no need to be watching that stuff. So young kids, you're all impressionable. Young kids, you're all impressionable. That's why your parents wanted you to be here. That's why your parents wanted you to be here, because your beautiful minds are impressionable. And they're hoping that if you come to the masjid, you'll hear something nice, it will affect you, and then you'll go back and you'll act nicer, inshallah. So I hope you're learning something nice. Now I want to get to a slightly different topic of pets and cats. A lot of people love their cats and their dogs, right everyone? We're going to talk about both of those. You ready, kids? You know how your parents, when they had you as a baby, they had to take care of you a lot? So they fell in love with you? So the amount of love a parent shows, it's very, very important. Now imagine somebody is giving all that love to something that doesn't deserve it. Let's just say I have a doll, a teddy bear, and I'm giving it as much love as my child. Would that be fair or would that be unfair?
No.
Why?
Because it's not living thing.
Thank you. A teddy bear doesn't deserve as much love as a child does. Now my hard question. If you have a cat or a dog and you have a child and you end up showing a lot of affection to your cat and your dog, you're not giving affection to your kids, what kind of effect does that have on your child? Yes?
Not important.
Yeah. Yes?
It feels like he's not cared enough or not.
Yes? And you at the end?
Like your parent doesn't care about you like
Yes,
as much
you.
like maybe it's gonna copy you.
Copy what?
It's copy what you do. So it's gonna not with dogs, it's gonna do that copy the same thing.
Yes. See, the problem in our world is when somebody is supposed to be taking care of a human, are you listening, kids? When it's a good time to take care of a human, we turn our attention to animals. So for example, a girl, she's reaching her age of marriage. Let's say she's 22, a Muslim girl. Or a boy, also he's 22, he needs to get married. Now because he's too goofy, he's not focused in life. He's not focused on his work, on his school, or anything. So now he wants to have a child, he wants to be a mom or a dad. So what they do is they get a pet, because it makes you feel like a mom or a dad. So many people, you hear them say, I'm a cat mom, or a dog mom, or whatever. You heard that term? Cat mom? That's the whole problem. We don't want ladies being moms to cats. We want ladies to be mothers to children. That's the whole problem. And I mentioned dog quite a few times, so kids, can you please pay attention? I know this is something really important. Please pay attention about dogs. A dog is an extremely smart animal. Extremely smart animal. The Quran talks about dogs as hunting assistants. The Quran talks about if you're not able to, usually guys, how do you make meat halal? If it's halal, for example, a deer, how do you make it halal? Yes? You slaughter it. What if the deer is too fast? That's when a dog can help you catch the deer. Or you'll see other people, they use like big birds, like falcons or eagles, and they go and you hold the eagle. If you train it enough, then you let it fly and it'll go catch the deer for you. Around the world, some cultures, they do that. Even now, they still do that. And even in North America, some people still do that for other reasons, to remove pigeons or whatever. So they use small birds to attack pigeons and so on. So anyways, dogs are extremely smart animals. You're allowed to use them for your hunting reasons. But again, you cannot love them like a family member. A study was done on the brains of dog owners. They said when they look at their dogs, the same part of the brain is activated as when you see a baby. People, when they see their dog, they have their brains light up. Like for example, this part of the brain is used to enjoy holding your child. So people, when they see their dog, they have the same part of their brain lighting up. So that's a problem. That means you're giving that much love to your dog that you're losing contact with other people. If you meet older people that keep dogs, they'll tell you, oh yeah, my kids are not nice to me, so I kept the dog. My kids are not loyal, so I keep a dog. That's where we don't want our world to go. That's why in the Muslim culture, we don't allow dogs in the house. If you have a farm, everyone say it, if you have a farm, you can keep a farm animal. Or if you're hunting, you can keep a hunting dog too. And by the way, it can even be more powerful animal than even a dog. If you can keep like a cheetah that you train, you can even use that to hunt other animals, like a deer. So Islam does allow the usage of animals, but Islam is very careful when it comes to how we keep the animals so close to us as if it's our family. That's where Allah does not want us to give all that love to an animal. We're supposed to give all that love to a human, a child. And that's where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, if you keep a dog in your house, then every day a big portion of your good deeds are taken away forever. They're cancelled. For example, if I have a dog and I did 500 good deeds today, 400 get deleted. Then again tomorrow I do 500 good deeds, 500, then 400 get deleted. And the other reason is because the special angels that bring happiness into the house, they can't come in. Because if the angels that bring happiness and mercy into the house, they cannot come in if you have a dog in the house. The only reason why you could keep a dog is if you have medical reasons. Kids, if you have a medical reason, what do they call that kind of dog?
Service dog?
Service. Who's that? Service dog. Thank you, sir. So service dogs could be an exception. A service dog could be an exception. But other than that, it is not okay to keep a dog inside the house. It takes away the blessings and the special mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala away from the house. And I wanted to mention that because I hear sometimes people do keep that in their house. So the point is to show all the love that we have as humans to other humans. And if you study what's happening with the human psychology, a lot of people feel lonely. And let's be honest, who feels lonely in their life right now? I feel lonely. Anyone else feels lonely in their life? Anyone, especially adults. Many adults, they feel like it's okay, I'm fine, but they're not fine. If you study men's health and what's happening in the world, men are not feeling well. Many across the world, many males go through depression and stress, and they're lonely, and they're having a lot of bad thoughts, but nobody cares. Like, you're a man, suck it up, move on. Nobody cares. So learn to understand that you need more care. And this is where I'm going to talk about something very important to everybody here. Please be kind to each other. We love making fun and joking with each other, but don't feel somebody so bad. They feel so bad that they actually go home and they become upset and depressed. If you say a really rude joke, a very rude joke, and it hurts the person, they might go back and they might be hurt forever. For example, we're sitting here, if I say a very rude joke about anybody, the amount of pain you'll feel, it won't go away in 1 month even. Even in 5 years, you'll still feel that pain. Like, I was in the mosque, and this guy was sitting on the chair, and he said something really rude to me, and it really hurt my feelings. It doesn't go away. That's why there's a saying that if somebody hurts you physically, it can get better. But if somebody hurts your heart, it never gets better. Did you hear that, kids? If somebody gets a physical injury, for example, you're running around, you fall down, and you lose a lot of, your knee starts bleeding. You'll get better in a week or two. But the bad feelings that we get, if somebody hurts our feelings, it doesn't go away. It hurts forever. So let's try our best not to make fun of each other. One of the most powerful hadiths in the collection, it mentions that do not only treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And that's why if you pay attention, I'm talking to everybody very respectfully. Because that's how I want to be treated, with respect. So I'm making sure I talk to everybody very respectfully. And that's how life is. Life is like a game of tennis. You hit the tennis ball that way, it comes back to you that way. If I give you respect, people will give you respect back. How you talk to your mother, your friend, your school teacher, that's how they'll talk to you. I was just reading an article where it mentioned many teachers don't feel safe in school. Many teachers, they don't even feel safe at school. They say the kids are so rough and rude, and in the playground and recess time, the kids are so rough. We don't feel safe as teachers even. Imagine how bad that is. They're your teachers, but they don't even feel safe around you because I know this kid is so rough, he's so rude. I don't even feel safe when he's around me. That's why many times the teacher will tell you, don't stand close to me. Have you ever heard that teacher tell you, don't stand close to me?
Yeah.
I don't know if his reason is COVID or germs, or they just don't feel safe around us. So let's try our best to make everybody feel safe. The hadith mentions you're not a believer until others feel safe from your mouth and your hands and feet. You're only a perfect Muslim if everybody feels safe around you from your mouth and your hands. You're not going to hurt them physically or verbally, then you're a good Muslim. So now we're going to go back to the original question that I asked, which was, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention the parents right after when he mentions the Lord is one? And the answer from the Quran is that because the example that I gave was about pets, remember? How small your pets are when you first get them and then they grow up. That's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought us when you were non-existent. Allah says you were nothing and I gave you existence. Your parents are kind of like that. Your parents are kind of like that. You're a tiny little creature and our parents take care of us and they bring us to maturity. Just like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does nurturing and brings us to amazing levels. For example, right now you kids are listening and I'm talking. But just a few years ago, I didn't know what to say. Just a few years ago, I could have never spoken what I'm saying now. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the intelligence to understand. And the beautiful answers you kids gave, I'm sure you didn't know those answers 5 years ago. The amazing answers you guys have been giving is because your parents gave you that education, your adults, the teachers, and that's how you're able to be a nice person. So Allah is always guiding us and nurturing us to be better people. Likewise, our parents, they brought us when we were tiny, they helped us grow up. I gave you the example of your own pets. You have a little cat, it was tiny, and it becomes full within a few months. That's how our parents, they brought us into this world. We were tiny little creatures. They brought us to where we are now. It is not easy, as I mentioned in the beginning. It takes years and years and years of love and affection for us to become adults. If you have a bird or a cat, it grows up in months. If you have a bird, it grows up in a few months, it's already a big bird. If you got a cat, in 5 months, it's almost adult size. But look at us, you guys been kids for years. You've been kids for years and years. And even teenagers, as I mentioned in the beginning, they're half adult, but in some ways, even teenagers are children. They're overgrown children. They're overgrown children still, many teenagers, until they're 20, 25. I have younger brothers who are fully adults, but there's some behavior still childish. They're dependent on their parents for many things. So if you're the kind of kid that leaves a big mess in his bedroom, I'm sorry, you could be 6 feet tall. But if you're still leaving a mess in your bedroom and your mom cleans it for you, you're still a child. Right, kids? Who leaves their room dirty? Anyone else? Thank you for being honest. So that's when your parents talk to you, realize you're a child. When your parents talk to you, don't be like, oh, I'm taller than my mom. Like, bro, who cares? Look at how much your mom and dad do for you. Many kids look at their height like, oh, I'm close to my mom's height, I'm close to my dad's height. That's fine, but your behavior is still childish. So when they yell at you or they get angry with you, don't get offended. Many kids, they get so offended. Why is my mom angry at me? You're acting like an immature child, you're doing really bad things. If they get upset with you, you don't need to get upset and angry with them. Understand, kids? If your parents get angry with you, do not get angry back with them. You acted bad, they have the right to get angry with you. They might have different ways of teaching you, and you might not like some of their teaching methods, but please try to understand if I did something bad, they have the right to let me know that they're unhappy with us. The problem nowadays is many kids, they're like, oh, I made a mistake, but be nice to me. Like, what do you mean be nice to you? You did something really, really bad, and I can't even get angry at you, like, oh, you're hurting my feelings. That's the whole point, is to hurt your feelings, to be rude to you, to be angry with you, so you stop doing it. So we are so careful with our emotions, like, don't hurt my emotions, but I'll break all the rules and you don't have to tell me something in a hard way. So we have to get that out of our minds, that somebody cannot get angry at us or cannot correct us. It's not like that. And by the way, correction are not embarrassments. If we correct someone in a nice way, the person shouldn't feel like, oh, I got embarrassed. Let me give an example that I gave last time also probably, which was a Sahabi came to the Prophet ﷺ's mosque, but he came in late. So the mosque was kind of full already. So he tried to come to the front. So you know what he started? He started going over, he started stepping over people. So imagine somebody comes right now and starts stepping over you kids. Like stepping over your shoulders. So that's what the Prophet saw. He saw somebody coming into the mosque late and stepping over shoulders. So he said, you're late and you're inconveniencing people. Sit down. He said two things to him. You're late and you're causing problems. Sit down. And the whole mosque was full. But everybody heard, yes, he's late and he's causing pain. You're hurting people by stepping over shoulders. Just sit down. He sat down. No, he didn't say, you hurt my feelings. He didn't say that. So we have to understand our feelings is not number one in the world. The truth is the truth. Imagine a Sahabi who if he thought that, oh, you hurt my feelings. Your feelings is not number one. What you're doing in the masjid, that really matters. If you came into the masjid, you caused inconvenience, we have the right to tell you you caused inconvenience. The other example I want to give is loudness in the masjid when everybody's praying. This is something even adults are not focused on anymore. Many adults, they talk so loudly because they feel comfortable in the masjid. Especially people that come to the mosque more often, I'll say it again, people that come to the mosque more often, they feel too comfortable. They start acting like it's their own home. For example, Brother Qasim, he's standing like, Brother Qasim, come here. And there's 20 people praying salat here, but I'm screaming, Brother Qasim, come here. Hello, he's praying right here. How can you just scream over his head? The Sahaba used to take a tiny little rock, because the mosque had a lot of sand in it. There was no carpet back then in the Prophet's mosque. So they'll take a little rock and they'll like, hey, come here. They'll do that kind of calling. If they're calling someone, they won't scream from here to here. So kids and teenagers and adults, when we are in the masjid, volume matters. There's a hadith that mentioned a Sahabi came in very loudly, and I think he had his business goods with him. His business goods. So he came in very loud and he threw it down and he caught the ruku. But after the salat, the Prophet mentioned that who was that person that came in so loudly into the mosque? And they had mentioned it was so. He goes, don't do that again. Don't come into the mosque so loudly. And can you please apply the same logic to your home and your classes? Many kids, they walk into school and they have a backpack, and what do? We take it off and we throw it on top of the desk. That's not nice. If your backpack is heavy and you go like this, and you drop it on the bag, on the desk, you're making a lot of noise. And we don't realize how loud we are. And some kids do it to act all tough, like, and want to act all big, like, just making noise. Same thing when we walk into the house. If we take our shoes off so loudly, and your mom is trying to go to sleep, and you throw your shoes so hard she can hear you throw your shoes, and you close the fridge so loudly. You close the fridge so loudly, or you go to the washroom and you want to lock the door, and you go bam, and you quickly lock it. Your mom is trying to go to sleep, and you're so loud with the washroom door. All these things, they show what kind of level of education and manners you have. Did you guys know that? I'll say it again. How you walk into a place, how loud you are, it shows your level of maturity, your level of education. The way you guys are so quiet, especially the little kids, it's a sign of how mature and how well behaved your family is bringing you up to be. How special your mom and dad is, I don't have to meet them. I already know. All you kids right here, so quiet, I don't even have to meet your parents, I know they're very special people. It's that simple. Did you guys know that? You don't have to meet somebody's parents to know who they are. You just look at the kids. If they're behaving so nicely, like, oh, they must have amazing parents. Like I told you, that quiet kid, the quiet kid, I'm sure his parents are amazing people because he's so well behaved. So life is very deep. May Allah give us tawfiq to understand. And as I mentioned, one of the most important things in life is to recognize the Lord. Nowadays, we know everything. We know who made the new phone, who has the greatest hockey goal, or cricket, or soccer, basketball, dunk, whatever. We know all these things. But we don't know the Lord. We know the creation, but we don't know the Creator. We know the creation really well, but we don't know the Creator. And the Quran talks about that the disbelievers, they know the world inside out. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. These kuffar, they're specialists when it comes to the outside world. They know their engineering, their physics, their chemistry, their biology, zoology, they know it all. This lizard does this, and that crab does this, and this insect does that, and this ant does that. Then there's 500 types of flies, and 6,000 types of cockroaches, and 15 types of giraffes. They know all that. They all know all these things. When it comes to the Lord, they don't know anything. So let's talk about the Lord for a few minutes. The Lord is the one that keeps us alive. As you're breathing oxygen right now, Allah created that oxygen. Every single one of us is breathing oxygen right now. And there's only one Lord that created that oxygen for us. The lungs with which we breathe every second, Allah created those lungs for us. And they're so quiet that you don't hear the lungs working. Your brain is functioning right now. You're listening to the lecture, right, kids? Your brain is functioning, but it's not making any noise. It's so quiet as it functions. Your knees, your hands, your body, all that is working, but it's very quiet. It's perfection. It's engineering at the perfection level. You're sitting. Do you guys know there's people that cannot sit for more than 2 minutes? Their body starts hurting. There's some people that have spine issues. Just by sitting for 20, 30 seconds, they start screaming like, oh, my spine, and they have nerve damage. The fact that we can sit for so many minutes, that means you have a perfect spine. You have a perfect spine. It's not hurting. You understand, kids? To be able to sit, that's a scientifically like a miracle. You're lucky you can sit for so long. Same thing with your sugar level. Right now, you're burning calories. Do you guys know that? You're not just sitting there randomly. There's actually energy being used every single second. So your brain needs more energy, then your body breaks down some fat, or the last meal you had, it breaks it down, it sends it to the body, it sends it to the brain, and all of this is happening as you sit here thinking about the lecture. If the sugar level is too high, your body brings it back down because you had too much food before you came in here. Or if you're too weak, your body breaks down more fat to make your sugar level go back up because you're getting weak. Your blood is being cleaned every single second. Your blood is being cleaned every second because the amount of work the blood does, it gets messy, so the blood has to be cleaned. And whatever comes out of that blood, it becomes urine and pee. So pee is basically the leftovers from your blood cleanup. From your blood filtration, it becomes urine afterwards. So all this is happening in our body with perfection. And who's doing that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who's doing that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are alive because of the Lord. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has two names that are really, really powerful when you think about it. One is Al-Hayy, the living, the ever-living, and Al-Muhyi, the one who gives life. So He's alive forever, and He gives life. When people talk about Mars, then they say when we go to Mars, we want to study what's alive, if there's any life on Mars. So all the life that we have on Earth is alive because of Al-Muhyi, the one who gave it life. So He is Al-Hayy, the ever-living, and He gives life to all of us. So He is Muhyi, the life giver. So He's the ever-living who gives living life to other people, and when He wants, He takes it back. So we're all alive, but a time will come when every single one of us will be finished and we'll go back to the Lord. And this is why we have a life, we have a purpose. I was just studying why when a person understands, I'm going to finish off on this. If you guys can really pay attention, please, teenagers, brothers, listen, please. A very important topic. How do you understand the purpose of life? When is a good time when your brain starts focusing on purpose? Let me give you my own example. A few weeks ago, I was thinking about my life, and I'm thinking, wait, I'm getting really old. I'm like, oh darn, I'm gonna die maybe soon because I'm getting really, really old. Then I said, oh my God, I gotta get focused on my purpose. I gotta get focused on our purpose because I wanted to be a good person and I wanted to share that with the world, but I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my time. So, the best thing we can do to stop wasting time is get a purpose in life. Understand, everyone? If you can find a purpose in life, then you're lucky, you will not waste your life. Otherwise, there's so many things that we do, they all waste our life. We waste so much time. And the biggest obstacle we all face is internet. Internet is the ultimate time waster. It wastes our time. And can I share a very unique hadith with you, kids? I'm going to share a very unique hadith with you. It kind of helps you with focusing. It's very, very unique. There's a dua Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught. Allahumma inni as'aluka Allahumma hadini wa saddidni. There's only two words in that dua. Oh Allah, give me hidayat and give me sadat. Oh Allah, give me hidayat and give me sadat. Allahumma hadini wa saddidni. This is when the tricky part comes in. Guys, pay attention. Nabi Sallallahu when he was teaching this hadith, he made the Sahabi have like a meditation. So he said, when you ask Allah for hidayat, وَاذْكُرْ بِالْهُدَى هِدَايَتَكَ الطَّرِيقِ. When you ask Allah for guidance, imagine it as a pathway. Imagine guidance like a path. So for example, kids, it's salah time and you're getting so distracted in school, you don't know how to focus on your salah. So imagine your salah is a straight path and you have to walk to your salah. So imagine a pathway. Although there's no path, you're just standing there. But you have to imagine a path so that way you can focus, like I have a pathway that I have to follow. And then, the hadith mentions when you want guidance and straightness, imagine the straightness of an arrow. Imagine the straightness. I'm almost done, guys. 1 more minute. Can I please have your attention for 1 more minute? So, Nabi mentioned if you want to focus, imagine a pathway, then imagine an arrow as perfectly straight an arrow, and that's how we can focus. You know how, what's the symbol for shooting an arrow? Show me. Like this? Yeah. And then, wait, some people do that as a show off in sports, right? When they get a shot too far, they go like this, right? They go like this. Nabi Sallallahu is teaching us that if you want to focus, imagine the straightness of an arrow. So for example, kids, you went to school, everybody's misbehaving. But you gotta focus, like, no, I'm an arrow, I gotta stay straight. I'm an arrow, I gotta straight. I wanna focus on life. Everybody's playing around in school, gym class, everybody's misbehaving, in recent people are misbehaving. You're like, no, I wanna stay perfectly focused, like an arrow. Otherwise, life is very distracting. There's so much ways to get distracted, but if we can focus, inshallah, there's amazing ways to become great. And please remember, kids, everybody matters. Every single person that becomes special, they matter. For example, you 4 friends that came, right? 4 friends at the back, right? Every single one of you really, really matters. Every single one, I swear to God, wallahi, you matter. You might be like, no, I'm just a kid. In this area, there's like 50 Muslim kids, we're just 4 of us. No, 4 of you will have the biggest impact on the next generation. The stuff you do, the bad stuff, the good stuff you do in high school, it has an impact for another 10 years. You understand, kids? Young men. Whatever you do, it will have an effect for 10 more years. The way you act like a good Muslim or you act like a bad Muslim, that has an effect on other Muslim people. If you stop missing your salat, especially the Dhuhr salat, and you start praying Zuhr salat, other Muslim kids will be like, oh my God, he's praying Zuhr salat in that corner, let me go join him. If you're missing all your Zuhr salats, nobody can learn from Please understand that every single human matters. Every single child, when they behave, it really matters. Yeah. So please remember, kids, every single one of you matters. Please try your best to be a better person, and inshallah share that guidance with the people.
جزاك الله خير يا إمام زين.